10 minutes, but I could spend a lifetime on gratitude, which is what my speech is about tonight. Sometimes when we go to networking events, we get a business card, and we know what people do, but we don't always know who they are. So thank you for the opportunity tonight to unmask and and be able to share a bit of myself. I grew up in a small town in Newfoundland, about 1,500 people, maybe 500 now. Everybody knew everybody, and I couldn't get away with anything. My mother was the commissioner, and she was, the school board, and so I had to be good all the time. I was raised by the community, and I think that there is a very important part of who I am today was that everybody looked out for you, and everybody was part of your success, and it was pretty amazing. And because it was a small town, there wasn't a lot to do. So we spent a lot of time connecting with ourselves and being in nature. So I remember my mother always saying after school, go out, go play, don't come home till it's dark. And so we had a lake by our house, and I spent a lot of time there. And so I really got to know myself and who I was. Without any external distractions. We weren't going all the time to sports, to this, to that. We actually had time to connect with ourselves. So I think that there is very important. One thing I always bring into my life today is, my mother always said, if anything ever happens to you, if you lose your arms, your legs, use your mouth. And so what I took from that was that no matter what circumstances were handed to me, I had the resources within me to keep going despite any challenges. So we grew up with a strong work ethic. We had to work hard, and there was nothing in that small town, so I knew if I was going to make it, I had to work really hard. So I went to work, went to school, repeat, repeat, repeat. And one day I wondered, what was my purpose? Why am I here? I could feel a greater calling for something bigger. I could feel it so much that it permeated so strongly that I had no choice but to follow it. At the age of 27, I got pregnant with my daughter. And I never ever once questioned my purpose. After that, I knew that she was my purpose and my motivation for getting out of bed every day. And I vowed to be the best mother that I could be. I had a life-changing incident that happened when I was pregnant with my son at age 36. And you go for your regular pap test, and I just always lived like everything was sunny and everything was wonderful. And it came back, and my cervix was white. I knew that couldn't be good. And I had to wait for 7 months before I found out exactly how bad that was, because they couldn't test me while I was pregnant. So during that time, in 7 months, when you don't know what's going to happen with your life, it really matures you, and it really puts life into perspective. And so during that 7 months, I grew more than I did in my 43 years. And thankfully, after I had my son, and I had to go for surgery, but everything has been fine ever since. So I'm very thankful for that. So gratitude, yeah. But after I had my surgery, I vowed that whatever was on my bucket list or whatever I dreamed of doing, I was going to do it. Whatever vision I had, I was going to do it. And I remember I picked up my daughter, and I said, we're going to Hollywood. I had always wanted to go to Hollywood. And we went, and she was like 8 years old, and it was the most amazing time of our life. And I remember going to Disney and driving through with the Disney ears, and I was so I was more excited than what she was, and she was 8 years old. Because my mother always said, you know, when you get out on your own, now you can go do that stuff. Well, guess what? It's become a passion of mine. I love to travel, and I think my love of traveling comes not just to experience places, but to experience life. And I remember another thing on my bucket list was to go to Paris and see the Eiffel Tower. Well, when I actually went there and I stood before the Eiffel Tower, it was one of the most unbelievable, amazing experiences in my life, because I was able to say, you know what, I did it. And I gave myself permission to live the life that I always dreamed of. And so I'm happy to say that everything that I've ever had on my bucket list, I've pretty much checked it off. So when people ask me how my day is, I say, it's wonderful. It's amazing. I'm alive. And I'm so thankful, because not everybody is so privileged. So whenever you're having a bad day or things are not going well, just remember you're alive, you're breathing, and you're given another day to experience this beautiful thing that we call life. Thank you.